Papal worship, another classic you need. It shows that Romanism and its doctrines and practice has nothing to do with true biblical Christianity, has nothing to do with the Word of God. Romanism has been the greatest persecutor of those of us who believe the Bible in history. In fact, my Protestant forefathers, the Dutch, used to have caps that they wore when they were warring against the papacy and Philip II. And on those caps, they had a crescent on it, and it said rather Turkish than Popish. We have the supremacy of the papal Roman Caesar in the Dark Ages. Take either date, whatever you want to start with, to 1517 AD. Then we have the Protestant Reformation, begins with Martin Luther, 1517 to the present. Supremacy of the Word of God over the supremacy of the Word of the priests. We have the Counter-Reformation. This is important to us because this is what the Jesuits started to destroy the Protestant Reformation. And the Reformation, you want to remember this. Regardless of your religious faith, the Reformation gave us three things: the freedom of speech, freedom of press, and freedom of worship. You have the right to choose what you want to believe about God. You have the right to choose what you want to write, providing you're going to assume responsibility for it. That freedom of conscience is imperative to have a prosperous civilization. So you take that freedom of conscience and you apply that to science, now you can begin to develop new sciences. And that's why the Protestant West was the leader in developing culture and science. Now we have the New Age movement. The New Age movement is started by Father Jesuit Teilhard de Chardin, the father of the New Age. That is a stepping stone to the return of the Dark Ages with the supremacy of the Roman Caesar, and then ultimately the return of the Son of God to establish his millennial kingdom. Again, I mentioned the Pope's two keys. We have the universal spiritual power and his universal temporal power by Pepin. The meridian of that power was, I call, the demon Pope Innocent III, who murdered all the Albigenses and killed nearly all the Waldenses. He said, catch and kill those little foxes, and he sent out his French army to get them. The Company of Jesus is totally dedicated to the restoration of the papal Caesar's universal temporal power, founded upon his universal spiritual power. The risen papal Caesar intends to impose his temporal power over every nation on earth while ruling from Solomon's yet-to-be-rebuilt third temple in Jerusalem. That's what the Crusades were all about. That's what this present war is all about, the rebuilding of Solomon's temple.